Oh, I know that you've seen Oscar-winning performances in horror movies, but I bet you've never quite been able to place what makes them so captivating. Well, I'm gonna help you out because today we're gonna be breaking down a beginner, intermediate, professional, and Oscar-winning actor take on the exact same scene from iconic Jordan Peele horror movie, Us. This scene involves a young woman and her family meeting their doppelgangers, and the doppelgangers force the family to listen to the story of why they even exist in the first place. So our actors are going to be very challenged today as they play both the villain and the victim. I am Tristan Spohn, a professional actor that you might have recognized from a couple of these shows. And we're gonna start with our complete beginner, who at the time of recording did not have any major acting classes under her belt.
When the girl ate, her food was given to her, warm and tasty. But when the shadow was hungry, she had to eat rabbits, raw and bloody.
It doesn't necessarily feel as though she actually experienced what she's talking about. She has this certain level of detachment from her words, and I want this to feel a little bit more exposed. And right now, Mai is doing it at the exact same pace, with the exact same volume and the exact same tone.
Time passed. They both got older. And one day, the girl met a handsome prince and fell in love.
You meet this doppelganger, evil, dark side to you, and it seems like you're just listening to her like she's a normal person.
They had to cut her open and take him from her belly. The shadow had to do it all herself.
Yeah, I think that could horrify you a little bit more. Having your insides completely cut open, and you're the one that has to do it because no one else is going to help you. I think you need to relive that. If we look at your reaction as light side of you from the beginning, you look the exact same, like her monologue has not affected you in the slightest. If we cut all of your reactions, it would have zero impact on the final scene. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put, great job. Here is the feedback I recorded for the video. And remember, we're going to watch all the way up to a Oscar-winning actress take on this exact scene. But next, let's check out our intermediate to see how he does it with a few years of training under his belt. Carson.
Once upon a time, there was a girl. The girl had a shadow. They were connected, tethered together. So whatever happened to the girl happened to the shadow.
I already see Carson's light side of the character actually studying this new version of him. And you even see a difference in just the disposition, where the shadow side has his shoulders back, great posture, versus the light side of him is a little bit more hunched over, which makes him come across a little bit weaker.
But when the shadow ate, she had to eat rabbits. Raw, bloody.
The very quick jittery movement makes it feel more unpredictable, like you don't really know what he might do next. Us as the audience, in turn, feel like he is doing something a little bit more unpredictable.
Her toys were sharp. They were sharp and cold.
I think that he had a really strong idea that then he beat a little bit too over the face. If he did just 20% less, it would have played better because it would have felt less like an actor making a choice and more like something actually going on.
That's when the shadow met Abraham. Didn't matter if she loved him or not. He was connected to the girl's prince after all.
He's reacting with the intent of showing it's affecting him instead of actually understanding why this is disturbing, which then makes the impact it has on him a byproduct. Neither Carson or Mai have fully nailed the light side of the character. They're listening, but not being affected. They're not being changed by what the dark side of them is saying. Great job. What an undertaking this scene was. Here is my full uncut feedback. Before we see how our Oscar winner did this scene, let's take a look at our pro, Nina from Croatia, who a lot of y'all that watch this series definitely recognize. We want to try to have different actors in the pro spot, but we just felt like this so perfectly matched Nina's strengths that we wanted to bring her back for this one as well. Nina was the lead of a local show in Croatia, along with recently booking another really cool part, meaning she does regularly get paid to act consistently.
Once upon a time, there was a girl, and the girl had a shadow. The two are connected, better together. So whatever happened to the girl happened to the shadow.
I love that she played with depth. Both Carson and Mai were on the exact same plane the entire time, and it really creates this creepy, foreboding energy for us to not really get a full, clear look at her until she gets closer. And if you just look in the eyes too, she's done such a great job of showing a complete difference in her eyes. I think Carson, both of his characters had this like brooding intensity to them, versus Nina, her light side comes across very naive and innocent in the way that she's holding her eyes, versus the dark energy, it comes across a lot more sociopathic.
Her food was given to her warm and tasty. But when the shadow was hungry, she had to eat rabbits, raw and bloody. Christmas, the girl received wonderful toys, soft and cushy. The shadow's toys were so sharp and cold, they'd slice through her fingers when she tried to play with them.
This is the first one that is actually giving me the tingles. She feels so much more connected to what she's saying. And she, I guarantee you, has allowed herself to disassociate completely. You have to be willing to run extremely dark thoughts in your head to be able to capture this haunting of a look in your eyes. It's clear she's not trying to be creepy. She's just occupying a creepy headspace.
The time passed. They both got older. The girl met a handsome prince and fell in love. The shadow, at the same time, met Abraham. It didn't matter if she loved him or not. He was settled to the girl's prince after all. Then the girl had her first child, a beautiful baby girl. And Shadow, she gave birth to a little monster. Humphrey was born laughing. Then the girl had her second child, a boy this time. They had her slice her belly and take him out of her. The shadow.
I appreciate that light side of Nina is incorporating more of the environment. She's doing what I wished Carson did, where she's showing that she's trying to escape before the actual escape happens. However, she's a little bit too preoccupied with the escape. We need to find a healthy balance of both, because it doesn't really feel like she's absorbing what Darkseid is putting down. I wanted Darkseid to have a bigger impact on her. The light side of this character is the hard part, right? You have to play both the environment, the stakes, and also let the darkness impact you and change you. And I've not really seen any of them three have the dark side change the light side. The light side has been playing the same intent with all three of them so far, and I guarantee you we're gonna see a change in the Oscar winner. And Nina puts on a masterclass of showing why the eyes are the most important part of every single scene, because she's not really doing anything with her face. It's just her eyes that are communicating this truly demonic version of the character. And I think that Mai was creepy, Carson was violent, Nina is demonic. And there's a very clear kind of build-up between all three of them. Now, before we get to our Oscar-winning actress, how would you like to not only potentially meet, but also have a chance to perform in front of an industry expert that has worked on other horror projects like Stranger Things Season 5? Well, that will be our first special guest in this season of madness in our online acting community, the Acting Lab. Every month during the final quarter of 2025, we're going to be hosting special casting competitions where the winners will be selected by special guest industry judges. And October is, of course, a special horror-themed competition with special guest judge Brad Tobler. He's a director, editor, and visual effects artist that most recently worked on the final season of Stranger Things. He's also worked on projects such as Avatar, Free Guy, and even Star Wars. So if you would like to meet him and potentially perform in front of him, then you have until Sunday, November 2nd to join our acting lab. We're going to be announcing the other special guests to this season of madness soon, but at least in the meantime, these are the deadlines up on the screen for each of these competitions. So the sooner you join, the more you'll be able to take part in, and the more chances you have to perform in front of special industry guest judges. But hey, better late than never if you're seeing this video a month after it came out. And aside from the competition, you'll also become one of my own students, much like all of the students that you saw in this video, getting regular feedback from me on your auditions and acting materials / portfolio. If you decide to sign up, I look forward to officially meeting you and helping you along your acting career. Now we're gonna see Lupita Nyong'o, our Oscar winner, take on this scene from the original movie.
And the girl had a shadow. The two were connected, tethered together. When the girl ate, her food was given to her warm and tasty.
Already, Lupita's light side of this character draws me in more than the dark side of her character. Which makes sense, because if you think about it, the dark side of her character is a shell of a human being, not a full human being. So there should be more depth behind the eyes with Lupita. All of our other actors, because all of the lines were exclusively on the dark side of the character, it felt like they had zero ways that they fleshed out the light side of the character. So it was almost swapped, where their dark side of the character felt like a full, in-depth, fleshed out version of the character.
You had to eat rabbit, raw and bloody. On Christmas, the girl received wonderful toys, soft and cushy. With the shadow's toys were so sharp and cold, they'd slice through her fingers when she tried to play with them.
You see how even though her voice is very hoarse and like barely coming out, she's still finding ways to find that variation in how she's speaking, which is why if you look at the vocal register between Mai and her, Mai had the hoarseness without any differentiation, but despite that, you feel like her voice is an obstacle to overcome, versus everyone else, the voice was just a part of the character. I really love that you can see her like trying to force her voice to do what she needs it to do, which adds another layer of tension into the scene.
The girl met a handsome prince and fell in love with the shadow. At that same time, met Abraham. It didn't matter if she loved him or not. He was tethered to the girl's prince after after all. Then the girl had her first child, a beautiful baby girl. But the shadow, she gave birth to a little monster. Hombre was born laughing. The girl had a second child.
Now we're seeing the stakes raise in the scene, and we see the hatred boiling over to where we can feel her losing control of herself. And that's what makes it scary, is the fact that there is that moment she starts to lose control of herself. And all three of our other actors had perfect control the entire time. They could have messied it up so they lost control of themselves more.
Boy, this time, they had to cut her open and take her from her belly.
You see, Lupita is thinking about how truly heinous that would be. And now her light side, it's almost like you can sense her having some form of empathy for the dark side, which again is showing how the dark side is changing her. And she's the only one where the light side of the character has had any impact on the scene, where if you cut her reaction shots out, the meaning of the scene changes completely. Everyone else's, the meaning of the scene is the exact same, but her, there's this moment of fearful empathy.
She named him Pluto. He was born to love fire. So you see, the shadow hated the girl so much for so long. Until one day, the shadow realized she was being tested by God.
Wow. Yeah. She did such a masterful job of showing how you can raise the stakes without having to raise the volume. The fact her voice is in this hoarseness, yet if we listen to it on mute, we would still see the stakes raise. Like, this performance is flawless, both visually and vocally at the exact same time, where you can divorce both sides and you still understand what is going on. Even if she's the only one talking, you see how what she's saying is being impacted by how light side Lupita is responding to what she's saying, which is really impressive considering she probably was just acting off of air. Bringing the intensity that she brought, it's still so clear that they're in the same room. She has no lines, and yet she has a very clear arc. She has a very clear change from beginning to end in a way that we never saw with anyone else. Overall, phenomenal. And I mean, there's a reason she's one of the best actresses of our generation. Now remember, if you want to not only learn from me personally, getting feedback on your own auditions, exactly like the actors you saw in the video, but also take part in our special season of madness, those are the deadlines right there for each month for each competition. And you can find more information by clicking the link in the description or pinned comment, or you can scan that QR code on your TV or your laptop for more information. And if you'd like to see me break down auditions that launched other famous actors' careers, then check out this video right up there.